Okay, so in high school, how quickly were you great in high school? When were you that guy?
Well, let me tell you, in high school, I got on varsity my freshman year, and they had me a flanker back, and I was number
Okay.
88. 80,
Huh.
80 I think the number was 88. 80 was my number.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I was just talking about this to a couple other guys, talking about your high school coaches and your high school experience. The reason I played football is because of my seventh grade coach was Aubrey Stissel. I liked him a whole lot. And then my my freshman year, a new coach had came in. Ralph Harris came from East Texas.
Huh.
And make a long story short, it didn't mix. I couldn't stand him. I mean, nobody liked him. I
Yeah.
mean, and I got to say, and I mean, I can say this for sure because I mean, every guy that knows that played with me, and I'll tell you the quick story. My freshman year, I played on varsity. My sophomore year, he was so tough on all the black players that all of us quit. Every black player quit except one. Winston Brown stayed on the team. And my next year, my junior year, he came back. I mean, I came back, and I wasn't gonna come back. Matter of fact, I won't forget. And this is one thing when you say what lets you know that you were, I guess, had a potential to be a great college player, a pro player. I didn't know, but a guy named James Abernathy came from Brookshire Roy. It was a town 12 miles from me. He came by my house that day. He was a big football, just a big sports fan. And he lived in another city, another town that's 12 miles away. He came over, and I saw him pull up, and my mother said, "Oh, that's Shaq." We call him Shaq. That's Shaq outside. Pulled up. He said, "Hey, Miss Dickens." He said, "I said, what's happening, Shaq?" He said, "Miss Dickens, do you mind if I take Eric and talk to him for a minute?" She said, "Sure, take him and talk to him." Got in the car, rode around. He said, "Man, I heard you quit football." I said, "Yeah, man." I said, "Man, I don't like that white man." I said,
Yeah.
"Man, I said, he racist." I said, "The way he treats us all." Yeah, and so he said, and I won't forget, as an older person, he said, we riding around, he says, "Eric, let me ask you, what do you see in this town?" I said, "Man, there was only like 2,000 people, maybe 1,500 then." I say, "Nothing." He said, "Eric, let me tell you something, son." He says, "It's nothing here." He says, "One red light in this town." He said, "You are one of the best athletes who's ever seen in these parts." Now, keep in mind, Skip, I'm a sophomore, going to be a junior. He said, "You're one of the best athletes we've ever seen in these parts, Eric." He said, "I'm telling you, go back and play football. That may be your way out of here." He says, "If you don't want to go play for Sealy, come play for Brookshire." I'm like, "All right, I'll think about it." I mean, he was telling me that. I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "Me?" So when I go back home, I told Mom, he said, "What did he say to you?" And I told exactly what he said. He said, "Eric, I'm going to tell you something. My mother said, I don't like football. I don't like that sport. It's going to cause you problems later. But I don't like you quitting. But if you want to go to Brookshire, I'll take you over and let you play in Brookshire." So fast forward a couple of days later, my best friend called me, Gary Hill. He said, "Hey, man, is Rap in your house?" I said, "No." He said, "He's on his way." I'm like, "What?" He want to try to get us all to come back and play football.
Yeah.
So sure enough, he shows up at my house, and my mother was she was very outspoken.
Okay.
She said, "Listen to what he had to say." She said, I'm gonna tell you something." She said, "I hear how you treat the black players." She said, "And it's just wrong." She said, "Nobody wants to play for you." And he kind of, "Well, Miss Dickinson, I'm gonna try to do better. I'm from East Texas. Get out of excuse, blah blah blah." So we all got together. All of us got together. We went decided to go back and play. We went back and played for him. Did I like him? No. I think we went like 9-2, something like that year. And we didn't get a playoff. You had to win the district back in those days. So my senior year, go back again. Didn't care for him, and he and I kind of got into it after the season. We won a state championship that year, and he wanted me to go to the University of Texas. That was his deal. He wanted me to go to UT. I didn't know it till later. Later I found out he wanted to try to get a job at UT if I went to UT, and I told him I like University of Texas, but I'm not sure if I want to go there. And he said, "You know what? I'm just going to tell these schools you're not interested in going to college." And me and him got into it. I said, "Man, I don't need you." I said, "If they want me, they'll come to my house and get me." I said, "I do not need you for anything."
True.
And so that's how it was. That's how it went. When the teams, how college would come to the school and they come to my house and say, "So you and your high school coach, I don't get along with him. I don't like him."
Okay. Quick question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The man who came over to talk you into going back to play football, the friend, black or white?
Black.
Okay.
Guy.
And how much older than you?
He was probably in his 30s. I was 18.
Okay, I got it.
He was like 33, something like that. Yeah.
Because that's a turning point. Where
it was.
What if you just said, "Oh, heck with football. I'm not going to do it anymore." I don't know what would have happened, but
I don't know what would have happened, Skip. That's a great question, but I don't know what would have happened. But who knows? I can say this much here. I'll stop at this story. About 6 years ago, I got a call from a guy that I know, He said, "Hey, Eric." I said, "What's going on, Dane?" He said, "Man," I said, "What's up?" He said, "Somebody want to say hi to you." I'm like, "Okay." Gets on the phone. Soon as I heard his voice, I knew it was him. He said, "Hey, Eric." I said, "What's up, Ralph?" My heart started beating fast. It just show you how the effect you can have on a young
Yeah,
man.
I got it.
I said, "What's up, Ralph?" He says, "How's it going?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "What's up, man? What can I do for you?" He says, "I just want to say that, Eric, I saw your career. You had a great career." I said, "Thanks, man." I was short. I said, what's up?" He says, "Eric, I just want to say this here. I just want to apologize the way I treated you guys." He said, "I want to say I'm sorry. And I just want to apologize." I said, "Ralph," I said, "Man, thanks for saying that. I appreciate that."
Okay.
He knew he had treated us badly, but, it is what it is. But, I would say God had a different plan for me. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here.
Well, you could make that case. So before you leave that behind, how exactly was he racist? Would he use language? Would he call you names?
He would call us the N-word. He would curse us all the time. He curses, and mostly us. Even the white guys say, "Man,
yeah.
he tell y'all like that."
I
they would say
understand.
it.
I know the type.
Because it was always us. Anything we did.
Yeah.
It was always the black thing. So that's what. But and I can say this much: just being in Sealy, believe it or not, I never heard anyone in my hometown call me the N-word ever. And I'm from a little small town in Texas. That's saying a lot.
I'd say, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yet it your senior year, was 78 your senior year when you won the state championship, right?
Yeah, that was my senior year. Yeah, we won the state championship.
And in that game, you go for 296, right, against Wiley.
Yeah, against Wiley.
296, that's ridiculous, man. That's man among boys to me, where you're just, they can't get you on the ground, right?
Well, yeah, that was, and the funny thing about that is, Wiley had won a state championship the year before. We had to go, and they wanted us to go up there closer to them to play, but once again, that was a town that had all white people, and they said, "Hey, we can't bring these black families up there." So we met, and we met. I'm telling you, you got to understand, it's the times. We met in Waco. We played in Waco at Bayless Stadium, and I got it was funny, and I still laugh about this. They were calling us the N-word on the field. We were laughing at it. I'm like, really?
Was Wiley mostly white kids? The players?
All
white?
All white. All white. It was all white.
And what was your racial makeup of your team? Did you have some white kids?
Yeah, we had black and white. Matter of fact, I'm looking at our state championship picture across on my desk on the wall over here. We had a mix of black and white. We had almost half and half. It was half and half.
So in 1978, the white kids are just blatantly, openly calling you the N-word on the football field before or during the state championship game.
During the game.
During the game.
During the game. It was, like I say, the funny thing was that we were laughing at it. It was just funny. I'm like, these little white boys is calling us this. And we beat the hell out of them.
You beat the hell out. You beat them 42-20. And again, you ran. Can you remember running for 296?
Oh yeah.
There had to be some cross country runs going on in there.
Oh, I had a screenplay that was a really good run. I had a 60 or 70 yarder up the middle. I remember something. I had 4 touchdowns. I remember that game very vividly because Barry Switzer was at the game. Coach Miles at the game.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of the big coaches got it. I remember because my mother said Barry Switzer there with a big meat coat on, some kind of fur coat on.
That'd be Switzer, yeah.
Yeah, that was Switzer.